Hi everyone. Today we're making pork chops with fries on Cooking Simple with Blaze. Yeah, that intro is pretty bad. Anyway, let's start with prepping our pork chop. You want to make sure that your pork chop is nice and flat on a board. Remove any undesirable bits, cut them off and throw them away. Just getting it ready for some seasoning. So I use my very simple barbecue seasoning, some salt and some pepper. We're seasoning these chops like we're sending them on a first date. Gotta make sure they smell good, taste good, and leave a lasting impression. Make sure you spread your salt and pepper nicely. You can pat it in to make sure that the flavor goes right into the meat. We are going to be using an air fryer to cook this bad boy, so make sure the seasoning is in there, because what happens when you put something in the air fryer or something is that the juices will push out some of the spices. So you need to make sure that you've put a generous amount on there to make sure that the flavor stays on the meat. You can use any spice that you like, a general barbecue spice, or any. You can use even a curry if you'd like that, or maybe a sweeter spice. Feel free to use your favorite spices here. This is really up to preference. You can even add something a bit spicy if you like your pork chops to burn a bit when they're going down your throat. Don't hesitate to even use some green spices, so some herbs also work. Um, you can just have fun and make sure that the pork chop tastes how you like it to taste. Now we're going to put it into our air fryer. A little trick I like to use to keep my air fryer as clean as possible, so I don't have to clean it that much, or the greasy parts don't get too stuck to the bottom, is I put a piece of foil on the bottom. Then I put my steak on top of that. This allows for the steak to cook and the juices kind of get collected in that foil bucket I've created, and that will save you a lot of time. Make sure you listen out for that sizzling and searing. That will be the sound of every diet plan screaming from the distance. You want to clean your board, and then we will continue with the rest of the meal. Please don't forget to flip your steak in the air fryer as it's cooking, because it will only cook on one side if you don't do that. Now we're going to peel some potatoes. This is what we'll be using for the fries. So I'm going to speed it up a bit so we get past this bit as fast as we can. We are going to be frying these potatoes to perfection, trying to get them nice and crispy. And by perfection, I mean the level of crispiness that would make a fitness influencer cry. This is pretty unhealthy food, so I would advise that you take it in moderation. I make it because once in a while we just like to have a cheat day, and hey, health isn't always the best. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that on a cooking show. Chop your fries into as thinly sliced chips as you can. Um, you can also use a chip cutter, or that's probably an easier way of doing that. I use a knife because I don't have a chip cutter. I should probably buy one. We don't eat chips that often for me to actually invest in something like that. While you're doing this, don't forget to check on your pork. Poke it with a fork if you can. And if it screams, you've got bigger problems than uncooked pork, I should say. Put some cooking oil in a pan, heat it up until it's nice and hot. Try not to make it too hot, as in don't put your heat on maximum, because what that might do is make it spit out when you put in your fries, like what's going to happen to me just here, where the oil goes everywhere. But put it at not highest, but close to highest. Put in your fries and make sure you agitate them to make sure that they're nicely separated and covered in oil individually. You're gonna move them around with whatever you're using to put them into the the oil to make sure that they're all nicely covered and that they cook individually very nicely and very well. We're gonna leave them here for a bit. Let's get back to our board, clean off all the potato residue, run it under some water first. Of course, that's, standard. Then what we're going to do is we are going to take out our pork because it's nicely cooked now. This is what it should look like when it's nicely cooked, a nice browning on both sides. If you have skin on it, it should be a nice crackling skin, which is really great to taste. I like to chop up my pork, remove the bone, really because I don't want us to be fighting with bones when we are eating. So I chop that up and put that aside. After a few minutes, check on your fries. What you're gonna want to do is move them around, especially the ones at the bottom because they do begin to stick. I probably moved mine a bit too late. So you see there kind of was a bit of stick on the bottom. Of course, this is much easier if you use one of those, I want to call them surfer things, or grates, nets, the metal nets. You know what I'm talking about, which you put your fries in and then you put that in your oil because you can just agitate that. It's much easier. I don't have one of those because, trying to cook simple. When the fries are done, meaning they're nice and crispy, you can taste them to see if they're like that. Take them out with a spatula which has holes at the bottom. You can also use your tongs or a fork. It will just take longer to do it that way. Try use something made of metal because the plastic usually melts in this kind of hot oil. Take it out of your pan, try catch out as much as you can, or get them all out really. That's really the idea. I like to use a napkin on my fries, try get rid of some of the oil, because if there's too much oil, it can get a little irritating. What I like to do now is I like to season my fries whilst it's still hot. I found if you do this whilst it's still hot, the flavor sticks onto the fries very nicely. So you see the oil on the piece of paper there that was kind of drained out. So we try, so put your fries in a dish, put some salt on it. Try putting another spice of your liking. I like use a sweet spice, or really an already cooked spice. A spice doesn't need any cooking, just to give my fries some flavor. You can use traditional chip spice as well. You can find that at any store, or just a general spice works as well. These fries are nice and crispy and golden, just like me on a good hair day. Plate your food as you like. I just like putting fries on one side and the roasted meat on the other. And there we have it, roasted pork chops and fries. If this meal were a person, it would be the kind that never takes back, but you still keep coming back for more.